Can you see any lace though? Can you? Because I can't. If you can, please don't call me out. What's good, Brat Bunch? It's Jazz from the Beauty Brats, and today I'm here with a little, a hair tutorial, girl. You like this hair color? It was supposed to be ginger. I guess I'll go ahead and blast myself. It was supposed to be ginger, and then I dyed it again, so it's definitely giving more Auburn vibes, but I like it. It's still cute. If you like the way this looks, then keep on watching. So this first clip is basically just to show the products that I'll be using in this tutorial, and I picked up the 30 and 40 volume developer, BW bleach, and the Bambu silicone mix, shampoo, and nutritive hair treatment. And the Bambu silicone mix line was recommended by Slade by Jordan in his ginger hair tutorial. And I got all of these products from the beauty supply store. And these first couple of clips are also just showing you guys what not to do when you're attempting this bleach watercolor method. So you'll notice that I start off mixing my bleach in a bowl, which, I mean, that's fine, but you'll see in the next clip right here that I am transferring the bleach into this bigger container, and when I do that, I lose a little bit of residue of bleach in the bowl, which isn't really that deep, but it's still unnecessary waste. It was just unnecessary to do it in a different container. And B, right here, when I start adding the water, I'm adding way too much at a time. I added way too much, and that just completely messed up the consistency, and I didn't recover from that. And you'll see that when I start putting the hair in and everything, like right here, the water is definitely giving creek water, iced coffee vibes. It's not giving bleach watercolor consistency. And this is what will happen if you end up messing up the ratio in the beginning, because I tried adding much more bleach to it off camera and it did nothing to help the consistency. Okay, so I included the clip to show you guys I actually still let my hair sit in that bleach water, although I kind of knew that it wasn't going to do much. And I also went ahead and showed my grandma house shoes, because y'all don't have to come for me, I already came for myself. And this go round I had to pick up the L'Oreal clear blue bleach packets, because they only had packets or $30 containers, and I wasn't going for the $30 container ones. And I also picked up the 50 volume developer. And that was because my wig barely lifted from black, and y'all see it when I bring that in the camera. So once you get your water to be boiling or super hot, you want to start adding it little by little to that bleach mixture, and this will just make the mixture that you have stretch a little more, so that you can do a watercolor method and you have enough product without having to buy just a lot of bleach and developer. Oops. Ow! Hot! 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 And once you get this paste, you want to just make sure that you brush it all throughout the hair and get everything saturated, because this will help you achieve an even bleach and dye job. And honestly, I do think that I missed a bit in the back when I did mine, but you guys can learn from my mistakes, and that's why I'm showing you guys what to do and giving y'all the tea before y'all even attempt it, so y'all can do better than I did. So this is where I begin the watercolor method for actually dyeing the hair, and I just started off with some boiling water and then added the Adore French Quarter hair dye. And I really didn't add that much at the beginning, but I would recommend going ahead and putting more in there, because I mean, I'm just prolonging the time. If you got your hair to lift to be lighter than what you see mine actually comes out to be, then you could use less, but I would go ahead and at least just start off with half the bottle and then see after that. So I did go ahead and attempt a strand test for this, but I mean, when you do the color strand test, you do get a good idea of what color you're gonna get, I guess, but just keep in mind you're going to lose some of the dye when you shampoo your hair anyway, so it's going to be lighter than that. And also, you want to keep some extra hot water on the stove just in case you do end up putting too much dye in, and you can always add some more and that'll make the color lighter. And so also, just like with the bleach, you want to make sure you brush through the hair, the wig really well, and get all of the strands saturated so that you do get an even dye. So I did let this sit about 30 minutes, and yeah, I had to do it again, guys, because after I wore this initially, I ended up trying to shampoo it so that I could, you know, do the video, and I shampooed the whole wig, and then I lost most of the dye and the wig just looked very much light brown, and I was like, this is not the color. So then I tried to get it again, and this time I used the remaining Adore French quarter dye and the Cajun Spice Kiss dye that I had left over as well. And on there it says that the base color is red, so I was aware of that when I decided to dye it, but that's definitely the reason I ended up with an auburn wig. And the color is very pretty. It's not what I was initially going for, but I really do like the color, and I just wanted to be known that this second dye that I use is definitely the reason that I ended up with the auburn wig though. So if you take anything from this video, don't add too much water to your bleach at a time, or you're going to end up with that soupy mixture. And get your hair to lift lighter than mine, like to a light brown or a dark blonde if you want that ginger color, or even a lighter auburn. But if you like the auburn that I got, then you know you can just have it at a medium brown and the color will take. Again, just like with the bleach mixture, you want to make sure that you thoroughly brush this dye through the hair and get everything saturated. Just like I just keep reiterating that, that's just what you want to do if you want an even dye job. But that's it for all of this, and we can finally get into the install. First things first, you want to add some foundation to your wig cap if it is not already really close to your skin tone. You can find ones that are different colors on Amazon, and sometimes they have a better selection in the beauty supply, but normally you just get these really tan ones. But you can use the foundation, some powder foundation, or you can use this EBIN tinted lace spray to go ahead and get your wig cap and the inside of your wig to be the color that you need it to be. I got my EBIN spray in the color medium brown, and it works perfectly for me. So then after that, you want to go ahead and start placing your wig on your head so that you can kind of get your placement and everything. My wig was still very tangled, so I had to go through and comb through it, and then I went in with the hot comb. This is also a really important step because you want to make sure that you get the hairs that are at the front of your lace back so they don't get in the way when you're trying to lay your wig down. So when you figure out where you want your wig to be placed, you can go ahead and push it back, and also push the wig cap back a little bit. And then I go in with the black Got To Be gel to go ahead and basically really get my edges back. But honestly, that step is only necessary for real if you're not going to wear a wig cap. Because if you are, you can just put the wig cap on it and then, you know, kind of slide it back so that your edges stay under the wig cap. But I'm just using an edge brush to go ahead and push those edges back, and then I'm gonna place my wig cap on top of that so that it kind of has something to hold on to, so it's not just sliding and everything. And then after you get that placed, it's really not necessary to like blow dry it or anything, and you can go ahead and start again placing your wig to make sure that it's in the place that you want it to be. And then again, I start going in with that Got To Be gel. And you see, you'll need to, it's easy to see the wig cap, so make sure that you do have it pushed back to a good enough spot so that when you put your concealer on the part, the wig cap won't be as visible. So now I'm using the end of my rat tail comb to go ahead and place the Gotta Be gel where I want it to be and where I want my wig to lay. So if you're going to use this Gotta Be gel, you want to go ahead and get the lace placed in it before it dries so that it will actually stick. If you let it dry, you're going to have to keep applying layers, and then, you know, if you're using a different type of glue or gel, you can just follow the directions. But I know that this actually does not have instructions for laying a wig, so this is just what I do to get my wig to stick. So you can use a blow dryer on hot to get the gel more tacky, and check it by using the end of a rat tail comb to see if it's ready to go ahead and start placing it when it gets sticky. And honestly, you don't really need the blow dryer. Since doing this, I've kind of stopped using the blow dryer to get the gel tacky because I kind of let it dry too much and I end up having to apply more gel. So just be very careful, and you don't have to blow dry it that much because this does dry very quickly. And then you will need this rat tail comb. It's really important because when you start placing the lace down, you need it to get those stray hairs out the way so that they don't get caught up in the lace. And it also just helps with placing everything more precisely. After you've gone in with that first layer of glue, you want to go ahead and use a holding spray, either the Got To Be, or I also use the ORS Super Holding Spray to get those edges that weren't laying down. And you want to use the edge of a rat tail comb to just make sure they start sticking. And then after you go in and do all of that, then you want to use an elastic band, which is what the girls have been using to get their lace melted. And you want to pull that super tight on your head, as tight as you can stand it, so that way your lace is not going to move, and as tight as you pull it, that's as tight as you know you're getting your lace to melt, allegedly. And then once you do get it put on and tie it on really well, I like to go in and use Beauty via Jalea's method of using the blow dryer on hot and then cold, because she said if she feels like it makes it melt the lace and then set it, melt it and then set it. And I'm not sure if that's true, but girl, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to the people who wig be looking better than mine. So yes, and then I would suggest to try to style your hair while you have the elastic band on. Just, you know, the longer you can keep it on, the better. But honestly, if you pull it very tight, you will probably end up with a headache. It does give me headaches when I pull it very tight like that. But I did keep it on when I went ahead and styled my hair, and I decided to straighten it. And this is a heat protector that I bought from the beauty supply store, and it was very cheap. So I was kind of skeptical, but I just went with it. I'm not sure if it works, guys, but I will go ahead and put the name of it in the description box down below. And I'm also using this flat iron I wanted to tell you about. I got it from this place called Burke's Outlet, which is a discount store, and it's similar to, you know, TJ Maxx and Ross. And I'll leave the details for that in the description box as well. Alright. Yo, this is straight. I kind of like it. I'm going to be curling the ends anyway, but let's go ahead and do my baby hair, hopefully. My hair hurt. Can y'all see the lace? Hell yeah. After pulling your elastic band off, you may notice that you have some visible glue and gunk on your forehead, or outside of the lace. So you want to go ahead and use some alcohol to clean that up if you don't want it to be reflective when you go outside, and just that also brings attention to the lace. So I decided to go ahead and go in with my bed head wax stick, and I don't know why I decided to do this, because you really can just do this after you part it, since this is really molding your hair into the form it's going to be. But it worked, and it really just depends on what order works best for you when you're doing your hair. And I guess I wasn't feeling the hairline, girl, because I definitely went in and started plucking some stuff away. So I would recommend doing this beforehand, but sometimes you do have to pluck more when it gets on your head. But plucking your wig or having your wig nicely plucked really helps it look a lot more natural. Like, your lace can be invisible, but if your hairline is bushy, then it still looks unrealistic. And then I also cut out a lot of the footage for me trying to part my hair, because it's just gonna make the video long. It's already long, y'all. If you're still here, hey, shout out to you. I really appreciate you. Please leave some comments down below on what you think of this. But girl, I'm not one of those hairstylists. It takes me forever to part my hair, and I just wanted y'all to, like I said, I cut out some, but I wanted y'all to see that it still kind of had me going back and forth. But honestly, concealer comes to save the day. If you're not that great at parting, it just needs to be pretty close, and then your concealer can pretty much do the rest. And this is a step that you really don't want to skip, because it definitely contributes to the wig looking a lot more natural when you go in with your concealer shade on the part. Spray myself twice. Alright. So now I'm about to use the Silicone Edge Control, the Edge Fixer, Mask Hold, and the Sweet Peach. And I'm also going to use some Eco Styler Gel. I got this edge brush off Amazon. I ain't gonna lie, I really think it helps. I don't know if they really all be the same brush, but my first edge brush that I got at the hair store, and I'll be swooping it like this. So since this video, I've actually gotten more tips, and I actually do use a flat iron in this video to go ahead and do my sideburns, but it didn't really click back then that I should be using it for all of my baby hairs if it would work for the sideburns. So what you do is you get a flat iron and you just curl your baby hair, literally just curl it, and that forms the little C curl, which, if you'll notice, that's what you're trying to make when you make a baby hair, or when you're trying to form your baby hairs. So if you go ahead and heat train it, then it's a lot easier and a lot quicker, just super quick. And that is how Arrogant Tay actually does his baby hairs. So, you know, when everybody took the master class, they started dropping the tea. And also, I don't really use the Eco Styler gel anymore. I use the grip gel. And this is also a tip that I picked up from Beauty Via Jalea. And Narration Jazz is about to be out. I just wanted to let you guys know that I cut out the rest of the baby hair stuff as well, because I don't even do my baby hairs like that anymore, and it would just be easier if you just went ahead and used the flat iron method to do all of your baby hairs. But I just showed you how I did it for my sideburns, and my camera ended up dying, so I had to curl my hair off camera, and after I finish this baby hair will be the outro. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. If you liked this video and you liked how the hair turned out, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you're gonna try this style. Girl, tag me in your pictures on Instagram, period. I want to see it. I want to see it, okay? Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.